Hey guys, welcome to Jimmy D's RC page. I'm here today with Captain J. Say hi, Captain J. He said hi. So today what we're going to do is we got the Eachine Mini Mustang. We got the nice bunny red tail livery there. Very popular, the red tails lately, I noticed on all the models. What I've done on this model is removed all of the undercarriage elements. I find that it flies much nicer when you take those elements out. Not so much drag on the undercarriage of the airframe. So what I'm going to do is I wanted to figure out how to cover up these holes that were left over once I took out the plastic inserts. In the interest of saving weight, I thought I would go with one of two options. I've got this aluminum tape that you can use for ducting and that type of thing, and I've just got normal packing tape, and I've got some pewter or silver acrylic paint that I could use to paint that over. Now what I decided to do was see which one would add the most weight. So I took me trusty old kitchen scale here, and I have weighed this bit of tape, that bit of packing tape, which is about how much I would need, and found that it came in at 0 grams. And then I cut off a comparable size of the aluminum tape, and I find that also weighs in at 0 grams. So I'm just going to go with the aluminum tape. It's a bit more robust. It probably looks the part a bit more. And I'm going to have to paint it to dull it down a bit because there is a bit of a luster on there. But that's not too much of a big deal. So without further ado, let's go ahead and effect that repair. So I'm going to peel the backing off. And it's just the square is it's about a 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch, or if you're more the metric type, about 2 centimeters squared. I'm just going to put that over the hole. I notice now that I'm under here that I've also got that carbon rod showing. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that. I might just paint that. There we go. There's the first one. Second one. So it's a bit tough to get the backing off this stuff. There we go. Second one. And the adhesion on this stuff is really nice. So there's something you don't have to worry about. I missed that one. That one's just off a little bit. Get the old tweezers out. It's never perfect the first time. Not with me anyway. Alright, peel that off. I didn't stick down the corner, so it's not going to be too hard. There we go. Didn't take off any paint with it, which is nice. Stick it down again. That's good. Nice and neat and tidy. I could probably tidy up this other one a bit. It went into the indentation a little. So I'll just tidy that one. There. Pull it tight, backwards. There we go. Nice little flyers, these little 400 millimeter things. There we go. And that looks nice and neat now. So, I'll just get a bit of this pewter out. Shake her up. And give that those carbon rods a once over. Okay, and I'll give the repair a once over as well. Just a touch, doesn't need too much. You know what, now that I look at it, that's a bit too gray. There's a bit too much gray in there. I've got some silver, let me grab that. There we go. This is sterling silver. These are folk art paints. I used to use these paints for painting plastic figures. So, bit of a Hero Quest geek as well as a RC aeroplane geek. New Dungeons and Dragons types might know what I'm talking about. There we go. Yeah, that looks That's much more comparable. That's much better. Okay, so I'm just gonna give it a little bit of that. I don't think I'll have to thin that out a bit. It's thin enough to go on nicely. Okay, so I'm just going to, oh wow, what a difference. What a difference. I don't know if you can see the difference between the two, but it just completes the look. I mean, it looks like it's maybe been repaired in the factory or something like that. So you got the luster of the original, and then here we'll turn that into the light a bit more, and it really just dulls it out with a thin coat of paint. Nice. Okay. And you know, I mean, it's an electric model. I don't expect I'm going to have any issues with nitro exhaust or glow fuel exhaust from any of the other airplanes on the strip. All right, it looks like this carbon rod will not take the paint quite so easily on the first pass. So I'll do a few coats on it and report back, but I'll show you the first coat at least. That. Tint over the white bits as well. Now, I've also seen that some people are using mods. They're using like old soda bottles or pop bottles, depending on where you're from, what you want to call it. Basically fizzy drink. They take fizzy drink bottles and make protective kind of cases for the servo. But honestly, the thing weighs nothing at all. Let's actually weigh it and find out. How much does it weigh? The tapes are stuck. Welcome to the most rehearsed page on YouTube. All right, so we're zeroed out at 0 grams. We'll put the airplane on the kitchen scale. I mean, the whole airplane weighs 46 grams. So, you know what? A little bit of extra weight, not a big deal. And secondly, I don't think that there's so little weight behind the airplane when it lands. I mean, 46 grams, sure, and it's going who knows what speed, but I mean, I don't see this thing ever getting damaged unless you're going full speed into the ground. I land it basically by flipping it over to the gyros to the beginner setting, and then I just glide it in, cruise it in nice and gently. And I had yet to have a problem with this airplane. Really docile when you have that gyro on, and then incredibly nimble, right? When you turn the gyros off in flight. Yeah. So I mean, one coating is okay, but it's not that convincing. I'll come back and I'll do another coat. So I'll pause the video here. And I'll wait for that to dry, and we'll do another coat, and we'll see how that comes up. I mean, it's already come up okay. It's not fantastic, but it's not horrible either. She's come pretty good. One more coat, and we'll see how that goes. So, until then, catch up later. See you soon. Okay, welcome back. So it's been about an hour since I put the first coat of paint on, so I'm just going to throw some more on there and see how we go. Okay, so that coat of paint has come pretty good. So we'll just pop a little bit more on. Yeah, it's taking that a bit nicer now. Yeah, I think 2 coats may be the go. I got an airbrush I could throw it on with too, but look, at the end of the day, this is one of those cases where I remember what my dad used to say. It's not really a piano, not this one. You know, belly land the thing all the gosh darn time, so it's not really a big deal if it doesn't end up completely beautiful. A little beautiful is good. I'm happy with a little beautiful. All right, yeah, she's taking the paint much better with the second application. Now, I haven't tried to rub it off or touch it at all, so I wonder how robust it's going to be. But, you know, I mean, even if I have to repaint it every now and again, it's not a big deal. I mean, I hardly noticed the carbon rods before. Not really until I turned it over and started putting the tape on did I notice that they were there, and kind of could use a coat of paint, so I'm not too fussed. I'm looking at getting the, what is it, the Eachine remote control that goes with this, because the ones that it comes with, I mean, they do a great job but you know, they're not as nice. I've got one of the Spectrum NX8s, and they're not really nearly as nice. You really notice a difference when you put the remote in your hand that comes with these aeroplanes. The Eachines, I mean. So these are, I think they also go by the name Voltanex. But the one that I got, I'll put a link in the description down below. This is the Eachine Mini P51, they call it. But Eachine now have their own radio made by Radio Masters. You can see some info on Petrincic. I love those guys, the Petrincic Brothers RC channel, where they talk all about how to bind that Eachine radio made by Radio Masters to these mini airplanes. Because you got this one, of course, you've got the Mini Mustang, and you've also got the Mini Trojan, and you've got the Mini F4U on the Corsair. I got a few more planes coming. We'll do some unboxings in the future, but I really am a warbird lover, and I think that's pretty much what we're going to see on this page is mostly the warbirds. I'll just lean this up here to dry. We're going to see lots of warbirds on this page. Pretty much anything in the European theater, those are going to be the first ones that I'm going to work on. This is a Great Plains 40 size Spitfire model that I got way back in the year 2000, and it's been, I bought it in Canada, built it in Canada, covered it originally in Canada. It got shipped to Australia, which is where we are now, and then we ended up going back to Canada. It came with me and got broken on the way back. So the stabilizer got broken, and part of the elevator got broken, and then we shipped it back over here. We're back in Australia again for the last, hopefully the final time. So I just, you know, we had this lockdown because of COVID-19, and I went ahead and rebuilt the stabilizer and the elevator, and in the end I ended up pretty much rebuilding all the tail surfaces. I rebuilt the entire stabilizer, the entire vertical fin, the entire elevator, there it is right there, and the entire rudder. Now unfortunately I couldn't find any of the CA hinges, right? Those basically, it's just like nylon covered in some fabric, or plastic covered in fabric, and you just slot them, put them in with like a T-pin in the middle so they stay centered, put a few drops of CA, and the CA wicks and holds itself on really strongly. Unfortunately, I could not source any of them when I was building these, and so I modified that a bit from the original Great Plains. That used to be just a 1/4 inch square that would just run down balsa, and of course I've lengthened that out, and so now I'm using inches just because I'm originally Canadian, and you know, Canadians, we can use either centimeters or inches just because, you know, we're close to the Yanks, but we also use the metric system. So that's a 2 centimeter right now across, and in inches that is looks like it is about 3/4 of an inch. And that holds those 1/4 size nylon hinges with the pin really, really nicely. Anyway, so that's going to be another project that I'm going to be working on this channel. So yeah, like I said, mostly warbirds, especially European theater warbirds. We'll start off with the Allied stuff, then we'll move over to the German stuff and maybe even some Italian birds. But I do have a few surprises coming and a few unboxings to do. This is pretty much the only balsa model that I've got underway, and I'm going to use nitro and glow fuel for that. I've got a Magnum 45 Pro engine from the 90s, but it's only got about 20 hours of runtime on it, so that's in really good shape. I'm going to be putting on this one, but you know, that's a project for the future that we'll talk about later. Yeah, so for the interim, thanks for checking out the page. Please subscribe if you enjoyed it. Click the bell for notifications. Share it around if you'd like to. I always want to grow my page. If I can monetize, that would be great, because, you know, money means more money for the hobby, more models, more videos. I'll try to get some in-flight video as well. I gotta find somebody who's willing to record rather than fly at the flying field. We'll see how I go with that. But yeah, in the interim, hope you enjoyed this video. Have a great day. Thanks for stopping by.